I have the wonderful return of how had goth god fucking
You tried.
shit happened this week. So, fun fact, I went and got a new PC. It's fast. Windows 11 has actually been doing me just fine. That works out great. PC's nice. Thank you very much. What's not great is that my bank sent me a new credit card to buy the computer with. I'm like, oh, new credit card. Great. Excellent. I'm switching banks, moving out to BC, blah, 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 right? Go down to the computer store. Hey, computer man, here's my new credit card. I would like you to charge this credit card. And he goes, okay, it's been declined. And I go, great. He's like, did you fill it up? I'm like, this is the first thing I have ever bought on it. And he goes, duh, I can't help you here, man. You might want to go down to the bank down the way. So I go down to the bank and I talk to the bank. And I'm like, I activated this card. They're like, you sure did activate the card. It's on fraud protection. I'm like, why is it on fraud protection? It says, well, it says here you're from Quebec. And this is cards from BC. And you just tried to buy a new computer. So the fraud protection kicked in. I'm like, great. Well, I'm me. I'm here. I'm in the bank. I tried to buy my own computer. Can you please take the fraud protection off? And she goes, no problem. Just give me a second. And she grabs a phone and she dials a number. And then she's like, on hold. I'm like, how long does this take? And she says, it may take up to 3 hours. Because I have to call the fraud protection section. And I have to wait in line on this telephone. And I go, okay, well, I can show you my ID and then leave, right? And she's like, no, you have to be here when they pick up. So I'm like, are you seriously telling me that I may have to sit here in this bank at your desk for up to 3 hours? And I'm like, she goes, yes. I'm like, I can't do this at home. No, it has to be inside a branch. Okay. So I pull my phone out, and 90 minutes later, she gets through and starts a, hello, yes, this gentleman, Patrick, there's fraud protection on his card. He wanted to buy a computer. It is him. I have his ID here. And the guy on the other end goes, okay, well, tell him to show you his recent bills with his BC address on them. And she's like, okay, can you give me your recent bills with your BC address on them? I'm like, no. One, why would I be carrying that around? Two, I literally moved like 15 days ago. I don't have bills with my address on them. They don't exist. And I can hear the guy on the other, well, we're going to have to decline and cancel the card because somebody is we can't confirm that you're the real you and you're in the bank, so you're trying. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Give me a fucking second. And I go into my email and I'm going through it. And I'm like, here's my fucking mortgage application. It has the name of the fucking house on it and my address and my name. Here's the part where I signed with the bank. Is this good enough? Well, I need a second one. Okay. And I ended up finding, oh God, I found the fucking receipt for like the down payment on the move. Like for the movers that had the address on it. And it wasn't like a bill to the address. It was like, deliver it to my address here. And she goes, oh, okay. And then she turns to her fucking thing and like hits 3 buttons and goes, your card works now. And I go, does it? Can I check? And she goes, sure. And you know they hand you the debit thing that is only for the teller to check your PIN? And I try the PIN fails. So the fucking PIN they sent me in the mail that goes with the card to activate it, fucking doesn't work. So if I had walked out and gone back to buy the computer, it would have fucking declined again. So then I had to fucking fix it myself with the fucking, fix it. Oh, here's the PIN. Great, thank you. 2 hours later, bunch of fucking bullshit. Okay, great, fine, excellent. Get the computer, bring the computer home. Computer nice, yay, computer. That's the end of that story. Moving on. My fucking stuff has been trapped in Quebec for months because it has to be shipped cross country, and that sucks, right? So I talked to the moving company, the only moving company that'll ship it across the entire country, and I go, hey, I would like it shipped to this address. Okay, no problem. All right, when is that going to be? I don't know, like middle of November? Oh, okay, that's pretty far. You'll let me know when they're on their way, right? Absolutely. When they pick it up from storage in Quebec, we will give you a call and tell you it is on their way. So on fucking Thursday, I get a phone call, and the guy's like, yeah, we got your stuff. Get ready to see us Saturday morning. That's the only day we can do it. If you can't do it on Saturday morning, then we will have to put it in storage and deliver it to your house the next time we're in British Columbia. Okay. Sure. Also, you have to pay the remainder of the balance on the move by end of day today, or we will not show up Saturday. And I'm like, how much is that? It's a couple $1,000s. I'm like, thank God I had a couple $1,000s ready on my fucking credit card, or else I would just not have had my fucking shit for over a month. Okay, great. It's paid. The move is paid. They're going to come Saturday morning. It's a couple weeks early, so I guess it worked out great. And then I send the text, hey, man, my wife and I are very careful. We're being really careful about COVID. Is it all right if we ask you to wear some masks? No. I'm sorry, even if we pay you extra? No, we are vaccinated. No, we will not. So then I send them a couple messages more, and then the answer comes back, I guess we'll figure something out when we get there. So they show up, and I start talking to the guy, and I have like the fucking N95s in my hand that are brand new out of package. I'm like, dude, please, if not, I'm just going to ask you to just leave everything in the fucking, on the lawn. And like, because you can't go in the house. And he goes, I hate these fucking masks. I can't breathe for shit on them. And they're not that big. I hate them. And I'm like, I will offer you $100. And he goes, oh, okay, I guess I'll ask the boss. And the boss, the guy, not the guy I've been talking to, comes out with 2 masks in his hand, because this is the obvious scam they run on everyone who asks them to wear masks. Where they go, we don't do that. No, we won't do it. Until you say, yeah, okay, fine, I'll pay you extra. And then they just have the fucking masks. And I go, no, not those ones. Because those are like 3-week-old hospital paper masks. These ones. The ones that will actually protect us. So I give them the masks, and they actually do a very good job moving in the stuff. And all of our stuff was there. And it all went really well. And there's only one little foible. The gentleman who complained about having breathing issues with masks, I believe him. I actually really believe him, because during the process he mentions, oh, COVID's not that big of a deal. I got over it like 2 weeks ago, whatever. And two, the man, Woolie, you've met people of this nature who have the smoker's aura. The smell of cigarette smoke that comes off of them from like 4 or 5 feet away. This man had the smoker's aura, and also his index and middle finger on his right hand were blackened and yellowed from cigarette smoke. And he got outside after moving, and he pulls the mask off, and he's breathing heavily. And I'm like, dude, yeah, I bet you have a hard time breathing. Considering you are an ultimate chain smoker and got fucking over COVID 2 weeks ago. So,
was it you that brought up that $100 figure?
Yes, it was me.
Okay.
Because it's like, we'll just have to figure it out. I assume that is where I'm supposed to offer 20, and they go, no. And I say 50, and they go, no. So I just said fuck it and skipped like 20 minutes of haggling with this fucking biohazard outside. And so here's the thing. When they were in the house, they were actually really good about mask etiquette. Mm-hmm. Almost like they actually totally wear masks on almost every job. It's just they don't do it without, a little extra.
So with the credit card stuff, like that shit, whenever I've had shit like, I've had similar experiences like that, it's always been, I'm like, what would help me feel better is if like the teller could explain the hypothetical identity theft scenario where all of this would go down. That's the thing, because I'm like, I get it, and I understand that you're trying. If you want to have defense layers so that someone can't fuck with your shit, totally. But give me the hypothetical where somebody goes all the way to this length where they're physically standing in front of you like this with identification.
So my favorite part was like, was it because it's the first purchase, or is it because, I didn't, did I not buy lunch on it first? Right, that kind of thing. And she's like, no, any purchase over $1,000 or some amount, I forget what it was, in the first month of the card would have triggered the fraud protection. So I'm like, oh, so any use of the card for the purpose of a credit card would have triggered the fraud protection. And the only way you can fix it is by trapping me in the fucking bank for, this is not me saying it, this is my mind anger. The only way to fix it. So basically you're giving out credit cards that you don't want people to fucking use? With what the fuck? Why'd you send it to my fucking house?
So the bit about looking for a proof of address has been such a constant issue at random points that I started walking with a hydro bill in my jacket for that purpose.
I think
and the other bit too as well is a lot of the time a place or an office or any sort of federal place will be like, okay, cool, show me your driver's license, and I'll be like, I don't have a driver's license, and then it'll be like, oh god, okay, and then it all starts, and it's like you don't have a contingency plan for someone who doesn't have a license, and then it's like, well, that's where you hope you're walking with your hydro bill, hope you're walking with your passport.
The worst part is that I did not sign up for the card online. I signed up for the card in person with the representative who set up my new bank account in BC, who required my SIN card information, which for Americans is Social Security, like my passport, my fucking Medicare card, the bank fucking knows I am real.
Yeah.
They confirmed it in person when I applied for the card.
Medicare cards will work in Canada in 9 out of 10 cases, but the cases where you have an address requirement, they're not going to accept your Medicare card. To anybody who's saying, because there's people who are like, we have state ID cards.
Ooh.
Here in Canada, we have Medicare cards, and those work most of the time, but it's not going to have your address on it, right? To get your address on it, you got to go with when I say a hydro bill, that's an electricity bill, or
it's not a water bill.
No, Hydro-Quebec was the name of the company. So yeah,
we got Hydro BC out here now. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, you got to show a utilities bill or a passport will count sometimes, or whatever. But I've started walking with one because of this exact issue.
No, I'm gonna email myself a couple of my fucking bills from my internet provider and stuff like that so that I can just pull them out. Also, here's my favorite part. When I showed them a couple bills and my mortgage stuff on my fucking phone, they didn't fucking verify that those were real. That could have been a fucking PDF that I fucked up with my fucking address and name on them.
Okay, now right, when the person looks at your phone bill after you struggling to find the thing, that is likely her skirting policy to be like, fine, he showed me something. Because absolutely it could have been a PDF on your phone, right? So that's likely them just being like, fuck it, we'll just count this. Totally.
I literally don't get a single bill in the mail anymore. What am I, fucking 55 years old?
Every company has sent an email saying, hey, stop with the paper bills, do it all digital now. Like they've all said switch to
My
your,
bank, every time I log in, they're like, do you
paperless.
want, hey, make sure, which is strange because I actually already get the e-bills, but they're like, you can fucking, you don't have to get paper bills anymore. Like nobody wants to send out paper bills.